Welcome back to Create Wealth Through Franchising podcast and Kim Daly TV. I have a new special guest in studio today. Her name is Jessi Brelsford from Maryland. Jessi, welcome to the studio of Kim Daly TV.
Thanks, Kim. Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Tell your story of moving from corporate America into a franchise that I think many people may be like, what is that? It's called Taste Buds Kitchen. So, Jessi, before we talk about Taste Buds Kitchen, let's bring the people into your story. Tell us a little bit about what you were doing when you kind of found yourself at a fork in the road and said, I got to do something different.
My story goes way back, right? So I'm from Maryland. I'm one of 23 first cousins. I was always the Pied Piper of the group, always around the kids, always baking in the kitchen, having fun in my mom's garden, selling literally the zucchini she grew to our neighbors for a quarter. But I started, loving the kitchen, loving kids. Fast forward, I then got very into business and economics. So I went to Harvard. I majored in economics. I swam Division I, so I'm a swimmer. And that kind of journey led me to Wall Street. So I moved to New York City, I worked on Wall Street, worked for Bear Stearns for 7 years and loved it, loved what I did. But I did find like that piece of the kids, the kitchen. I was with people that wore suits between the ages of 20 and 40, working 60, 80-hour weeks. And I was missing that creative part of my life. So I started Taste Buds Kitchen as a hobby, teaching kids to bake twice a month. And that was kind of all I could fit into my schedule, sometimes once a month, never knowing if people would sign up for my class. I posted the class online. It was a free class, make turkey cookies, make Halloween cupcakes. Those were some of the ones that we started with. And it did great. So it sold out and people wanted more. They wanted me to do their kids' birthday parties. They wanted me to do summer camps, all these fun things that I just didn't have time to do on top of my job. So after doing that for about 6 months to a year, I said, okay, I can do this. So this was 17 years ago. I started this back in 2007. In 2008, I left my job on Wall Street and started Taste Buds Kitchen. So when I left the corporate finance world and started this, I knew we would do all ages. So we were cook with ages 2 to 99. And I knew we would do all kinds of food. So not just sweets, which is where it had started, kids and baking, but sweet and savory. So bringing us to today at Taste Buds Kitchen, we make the kitchen fun and we make it from scratch. So we don't sell food, we don't cater food. It's just an events-based business. So you can come in for summer camp, for kids' birthday parties, for caregiver and me classes, little 2-year-olds. My husband and I have twin 3.5-year-olds, and they love to go on Saturday mornings and make fun things. And then we have the adults. We do BYOB adult classes. We do corporate events. It's generally BYOB, so bring your own beer or wine and have fun cooking with us. So that's kind of the story of me, then how TBK was born. And then why did we franchise? That happened again based on demand. I'm an opportunist, right? I like to work hard. I like to know what I'm doing. And people asked. So when I was in New York City, which is where I started this, still have our flagship location there in Chelsea, people would come to the kitchen, love what we were doing and say, oh my gosh, will you do this where I live? I said, I don't see that for myself. They said, well, could I? Can you teach me how to teach cooking classes, camps, corporate events for kids and adults? So I, politely said, I'm not sure if I can. I took down their name and email, added it to a spreadsheet. I had 120 people on that list 5 years later. So that's when I looked into it, got excited about franchising and kind of what that would mean and being a boutique brand around the country with smart, talented individuals who wanted to be a member of their community, wanted to give back, had a great, professional background, but didn't even know this existed. So that's kind of our journey of how TBK was born, how the franchise was born. We've been franchising for 10 years.
Wow. Okay. And how many locations do you have open now today?
So we have 12 open. We've opened about 1 or 2 a year, very slow and steady, like anything in my life, take it slow and steady. So we opened 1 to 2 a year, grew. East Coast, we're in the San Francisco Bay Area. We have New York City, we have Miami, we have Chicago, we have middle of the country. So I kind of wanted to do different markets, grow that way, make sure we had the brand ready for franchising, all the systems figured out, the training, the operations. And then we partnered with Frandevco just at the beginning of this year and FranChoice and you guys to really grow our efforts. So that's been really exciting. So we have 12 open locations and we have 23 total. So we have about 10 in development currently in different stages of site selection or construction, all of which I hope they'll open in 2025. It takes about 9 to 12 months to open a TBK.
Okay, so no food background other than your love of food, your passion
Yes.
for food. So when you're looking for a good franchisee, knowing what you know now, are you looking for people with food background?
I used to say no one had a food background. We do actually currently have two franchisees who went to culinary school, but no, it's by no means required. And sometimes it's discouraged because we have all the recipes, right? We're going to teach you how to do this. What we want are the business skills, right? Someone that wants to be a member of their community, wants to build a business, wants to build a team. We can teach you the recipes. We've got right recipes. They're really fun for the clients, and we can teach you how to do that. So
Okay,
no
so
formal culinary training required.
I love that. And those who follow me know I often say it's who, not what, when you invest in a franchise. It's partnering yourself
Definitely.
with people. You don't have to have the background. If you do, they will tell you. And she's telling you, you don't have to have a food
Right.
background. Okay, so I have to point out something that's kind of like glaring me in the face. Okay, Harvard degree, Wall Street, quit your job. Did your family and your friends like try to reel you back from the edge of that cliff, or were they like pushing you off of it?
No, they were pulling me back slash what? They're like, but specifically my colleagues on Wall Street, they're like, you're going to do what? And my dad's been my parents, my whole family's been a big supporter, but I remember having the call with my dad because more details in the story. When JP Morgan bought Bear Stearns 2008, Bear Stearns tanked. I was there for all of that. I was on the trading floor, fixed income. I asked to be laid off. So I was going to be hired on by JP Morgan, but I saw this as an opportunity to kind of raise my hand and say, I would get severance. I would not be included. And that gave me like the 3 months, maybe 6 months max cushion I needed. And my dad, having had his job and been at two companies his entire life, was like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, I am, because why not? Right? Why not me? Why not now? If I'm passionate about this, I want to enjoy what I do. And that's how I feel, right? It doesn't feel like work to me. I work very hard, very much of the time, but I love it. So yes, they did think I was crazy. Some probably still do. But I love it. Yeah, I love it. It's worked out well.
Think that's amazing, because I'm also assuming that you left not just the job and the security of all that, but a really big, nice, cushy income, and then
Yes.
had to start from scratch building this. And now you're venturing out as a franchisor and trying to figure out what that means, right? How do you help other people leverage their life savings, right?
Yes.
And jump off that cliff every day, right? And
Yes.
as a franchisor, you have to very carefully manage expectations and the fear level, right? That is inherent in all new business owners.
Sure.
And I see, after 22 years of being a franchise consultant and sort of standing in the river between franchisees and franchisors, I see that those franchisors who can carefully manage that and create a culture of that is just it's more inspiring and build that trust, they're the ones that have successful franchises. It's not always because the brand is like the super shiniest, best one out there. It's more of a leadership and a trust thing that I see that leads franchisors to being successful as they grow. So I think it's fun that you have your own story. Where I'm going with this, tying it all back together, is I think it's really great that you have your own story of doing exactly what these people coming to you, raising their hand saying, tell me about Taste Buds Kitchen, are trying to do. Because I think it gives you more credibility in, like that heart to heart connection.
Sure. Yeah, no, and I think you're so right. You're spot on. I mean, the Taste Buds Kitchen's amazing, and we've try to box it up to be a business in a box, but no business is that easy. And it's the people. It's our franchisees are amazing individual, hardworking individuals. They want to contribute to their community, and they want to build teams, small employer, small business owner in your community, and they have great teams. And so much of the client loyalty that we have comes from you're going into a community owned business, right? It's a local family who's here. And the experience we create are amazing. So yeah, I think it's all about the people always.
Do you have a percentage, like a higher percentage of female owners to male owners, or is it about?
Great question. Yeah. So we're 100% female owned currently. I'm sure that won't always be the case, but all of our franchisees have at least one female in the ownership group. We have a good amount of husband-wife teams. And interestingly, some of them, the husband's taken the lead, the wife's kept her job. Some of them, the wife's taken the lead, the husband's kept his job. But a lot of husband wives at the helm who open one location, aspire to do more, want to get their feet wet. But I always love women in the mix. Smart women are definitely a large part of what we do at TBK. We've got my husband is my partner in the franchise business, so great men in the mix as well.
Is it a business that appeals to the working mom with kids herself when she thinks about, wow, my goal would be to have a business where I can cater to people like me?
Absolutely. Everyone, I want to say, is a parent, and we have some grandparents. So we have franchisees who have had babies while franchisees, right? So they have toddlers. We have grandparent franchisees who have had grandchildren who now come to TBK, and we have plenty with those in high school and college. It's a very family business. Your kids can get involved with teaching classes, with, when they're 12 and it's their first job in the back helping you with dishes. So I think that's a lot of the appeal, is not just enjoying what we do, culinary entertainment, having fun in the kitchen with your family, with your community, but teaching your kids a work ethic and having a legacy for them, really creating something that your family can be involved in together, build it together. I have twin 3.5-year-olds, a boy and a girl, and a 6-year-old. And every franchise agreement I sign, they sign with me. And I love that. We always have pictures and it's DocuSign now. It used to be old fashioned, sign it. Now we're doing DocuSign. But I love that for me, right? Having kids involved in what you do is so special. And I have a picture wall. When I was pregnant with twins, I signed a franchise agreement. I have a picture of me signing, on my big belly. But yeah, I think that's a great part of life. And for me, life's too short. So I always want to be doing things that I'm passionate about. And that is Taste Buds Kitchen.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I mean, the legacy you leave to your own children there. Kim Daly has so many episodes on the real value of what you do when you change your life and the trickle effect behind you. But I'm the same kind of mom. My boys are all interested in entrepreneurship. Yeah. Because they follow, they see it's role modeled at home. It's what they want to do, when they grow up. So, okay. So in a Taste Buds Kitchen, and for the franchisees that you are trying to attract to you, we're not looking for culinary people, but are we looking then for business development, outside salespeople, or is your business more built by a key location in the community and marketing?
That's a great question. I would say it's an engaged owner is really what I'm looking for. Someone that we have varying backgrounds, right? A lot of people came from corporate America. But we have accountants, we have engineers, we have salespeople that were always on the road, never seeing their kids, right? We have a woman that ran a soup kitchen. So a lot of different backgrounds, but they all want to be engaged. They all want to teach what we're teaching, right? We're going to train you how to run this business. They want to get in there and they want to manage it. They want to do the best that they can to run this business, and they want to build this team. So I think the more acumen, I would say business acumen, the better, that wants to manage the team and wants to get out about in their community. We have the marketing system. We're going to teach you how to do it. We do paid ads on our end. You'll do community marketing. But someone that wants to get in here and follow it, because I've been doing this 17 years, right? So we've tested it. We've tried it. We know what works. We know what doesn't work. So those franchisees that are committed to following the system, passionate about their own success, they're the ones that we're looking for.
Those are also words that have been uttered here many times on Kim Daly TV.
I love that. Yeah.
The number one factor to your success as a franchisee is drumroll. Follow the system.
Yes.
You did it for 17 years. That's the funny thing too, Jessi, right? People want to invest in a franchise, but then they want to challenge what what they've paid for, by either not following it or tell you all the reasons that they think their way is better, right? It just happens. It's normal. I always say, those people who are, I think, you wake up and want to be business owners are, have that confidence to drive and have ideas. But then when you say yes to a franchise, you sort of have to check all of that and your ego at the door in order to step forward into the franchise. It doesn't mean that person can never come around, but it works best for you and the franchisor if you come in a little humbled and just do what they tell you to do, at least until you produce a result that gives you the opportunity to say, look, I've proven myself and I have an idea. Would you be willing to hear it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's so right. It is so, and we're not perfect. No one is, but we have a system and it works and we want you to follow it. But like you said, we have committees. We want people to give back, right? So once you've been in here and get up and running, we have franchise committees for different projects. We have test groups. So we're really big on getting our franchisees involved, which I love. Lets us know them better. And they're really the boots on the ground. So we want all of that, but you got to follow the system first to have a, level playing field of this is where it is. This is how you run the business. And if you have ideas, we're open to them.
Now, you had mentioned that it takes 9 to 12 months from like signing a franchise agreement to getting open, let's say. So while I have a founder, because it's very rare that I do on my show. So tell us a little bit about like people out there maybe listening going, oh my gosh, why does it take so long? Like what is involved in that time frame?
Yeah, great question. So brick and mortar wise, I think we're quick. So I like that. But if you're going to go out there and rent a space, right, lease a commercial space, it's going to take you 3 to 5 months.
Because to find it.
And find it.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. Of those 9 to 12 months, 3 to 5, you're finding it and signing the lease.
So I just want to stop you right there. Like, all right, listeners, did you hear what she said? Because so many times franchisees, even people who've gone through my process, and they come back and they're like, oh, they're like aggravated and frustrated and it's taking so long. And I'm like, wait, didn't you just sign your franchise agreement like a month ago?
Yes.
They're like, yes, but like everybody has this, theory that it's just good. They're going to sign a franchise agreement and the next day you're going to sign a lease, right? And then I get some people who won't even sign their franchise agreement until they find a location. And I'm like, whoa.
Right. We can help you with that. Yes.
You're buying a franchise for support and there will be people there who will support you, but they're not paid to support you until you signed a franchise agreement and committed to their way. So if you're out there listening, listen to what she said, 9 to 12 months. Not every franchise has that big of a process. If you don't have brick and mortar, it can be 30 days or 60 days.
Correct.
But during your 1 to 2 month exploratory process, you'll work with the developer to understand from signing to opening what that average time frame is. And you must believe it. You must say, I want it to be faster, but I'm okay with this time frame, because otherwise you're just setting yourself up for a lot of frustration. Okay, so let's say it takes you 3-4 months just to wait for the right location to become available.
Right.
Now what happens? You negotiate the lease.
Yeah, exactly. So in the 3 to 5 months, you found the site, you have a letter of intent, and then you're negotiating the lease. And sometimes if it's a national landlord, that can take a month. Right? Because you respond to them quickly. It could take them 10 days to answer your email. So it's a very frustrating time, but a very normal time, like you said. And what I love about Taste Buds Kitchen, this 9 to 12 months, I think it works out perfectly because most people will keep their job throughout this, right? So it's a nice thing if you can decide to change your life, you can decide to open a Taste Buds Kitchen, sign your franchise agreement, and all through site selection, you're keeping your job, keeping your income, right? They're keeping that stability while getting into the unknown and the kind of entrepreneurial background that you've been looking for. So I think it's a good transition for people during that time. So 3 to 5 months, you get your site, then you go into design and permitting. So we're going to design the kitchen for you. We have a nationwide architect. We'll help you find a local contractor, help you level the bids. My husband's my partner in the franchise business. He did architecture and commercial real estate in New York City. I met him after I started TBK, but he's been a great member of the team. He started the franchise business with me. So he's been doing this full time for 10 years. Get the kitchen designed, file for permits. Permits can take a week or 4 months, right? Every state is very different. So we always want it to be a week, but it's not always a week, right? So we leave some cushion for permitting time. And then as soon as permits are issued, we start construction. Construction's not long, say 10 to 12 weeks. So, right, 2 to 3 months. And then open, 2 to 4 weeks later. So that whole thing stacks up. I always talk to people now saying, okay, the goal is you're open this time next year. So it's like a nice benchmark to work around, right? So it's almost heading into holiday 2024. Our franchisees of right now are hoping to open by holidays of 2025.
Is this the kind of business that is busier like at certain times of the day, or is it a steady flow throughout the day?
Yeah, it's a great question. So people want to do entertainment, right? Which is what we are, culinary entertainment business. Generally, nights and weekends are going to be popular. However, our biggest business is camp. So every day school is closed, we're open. So that's about a third of the days, right? Depending on where you live and how often schools get out. But you have all summer and then every school break. So usually 2 weeks around winter and New Year's. You have spring break. You may have winter break, MLK Day, Election Day, all these different holidays, kids are in the kitchen. So from 9 until 4 on those days, we have little kids in the morning, older kids in the afternoon. So outside of the camp time, corporate events generally want after work. but we're seeing more and more of a trend of lunchtime and late afternoon, right? They don't want to keep you longer than the workday. So they're doing fun things during the workday. Birthday parties, generally weekends, after schools. And then we'll fill in the rest with adult classes. So adults are BYOB, a lot of date nights, girls' night out, family friends, where it's like 30-year-olds bringing their 60-year-old parents, coming and cooking together, really just having fun, right? So all our classes, we're teaching tips and tricks. We're making everything from scratch. You know the menu when you sign up. So we have menus that are gluten-free, dairy-free. By design, we are nut-free. So none of our recipes include nuts. So great kind of conscious and aware of allergies and dietary restrictions. You come in, you'll make your menu start to finish. You'll enjoy what you made, create memories doing it. So that's a general way to say camps, Monday to Friday, everything else, largely nights and weekends, but you will get like field trips that come in during the day. It's the cutest thing to see 30 kindergartners, march out of a school bus and pull up front of the kitchen. And adult classes. There's obviously a lot of adults that don't work Monday to Friday. So maybe they're nurses, they have varied schedule, or stay-at-home moms, or retirement communities. There's definitely ways to do adult classes during the day as well.
So we have we don't need people who are obsessed with the food-based business. We need people who are more into people.
Yep.
Is that
people, people.
Yeah. And some business development, but also there's a marketing side to this.
Yes.
Yep. And kind of like around the clock hour. Are you open 7 days a week?
So that's a great question. So we're open, we recommend 5 days to start, Wednesday to Sunday. Because those are the primary times. And then likely we'll go into 7 days a week, probably when you hit year 1 or year 2, when you get busy enough and you need that extra space. Most of our mature kitchens who've been open 2+ years are open 7 days a week. But compared to, let's say, restaurant, food costs are so much less. Hours are so much better. Our late night class would be 7 to 9. In some markets, that's 6 to 8, right? So you're not a late night crew. You're closing the kitchen down. What I love about it too, you're shopping based on reservations. So people sign up in advance, right? They pay in advance. You know what they're coming for. So you know how much you're buying. You don't really have food waste. Like in a restaurant, you're trying to anticipate, right? What are people going to order? So you have to go out and have a certain amount of everything on hand. We have this great system that says, okay, I'm doing pasta for 20 people and steakhouse for 5. And you're able to literally print out a shopping list that tells you what you need to get. So whether you're doing food delivery or going to the store yourself, it leads to very, very effective food costs. So our last year, we have a good item 19, but average unit volume was about 700,000, over north of 700,000. And then NOI about 31%. So can be a very profitable business and a good sales business.
Wow. And I thought of the question I was going to ask you before.
Oh, good.
So you had mentioned, Jessi, that people will keep their job during the site selection process of that 9 to 12 months. But do they then quit their job? Do you expect them to be full-time? Because you said engaged owners. What does that mean?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we require a general manager, that you hire a general manager. Think of the general manager as like a lead instructor. So this person you're going to hire, they're going to be your right-hand guy or gal. And they're going to be teaching most of your classes. That's going to free you up to run the business, right? Steer the ship. So you are having your monthly marketing call with a marketing agency. You're getting out there and you're doing your community marketing. You're responding to clients when they have a phone call or an email. So you really are running that while they're your right-hand person teaching the classes. Most will leave their job because they see the possibility and it becomes like, whoa, this is actually a big business to run. This can very easily replace where I was. And that's generally the goal people are looking for. I don't think I have people that do other part-time businesses, maybe own another business, something else. I currently don't have anyone that's kept their full-time, but I have someone in like the process interested in it. And I think it can work. You just need to build your bench differently, right? You need to have people that can be there if you yourself cannot. So that's what I tell always our franchisee. You need to have that availability to pop in if something is needed to be addressed or fixed, that only you can do.
Yeah. And do you have owners who are interested in more than one kitchen?
Yes, we have 4 franchisees that own multiple locations, which is really exciting. Yeah. So they all have 2. And someone currently interested in the 3rd. So yeah, that's been really exciting just to see them grow. And in the beginning, you grow. Our oldest franchisee is about to renew. She's 10 years old. So we have the whole life cycle because we did open 1 to 2 a year over those 10 years. We've really been through the different phases. And I love that, right? I want many empire builders. So we want to open 200 locations in the next, say, 5 years. And I would love to do it with 70 or 75 franchisees, right? I want people that want to build empires for themselves, for their families, people who, whether you want to start with 3 or start with 1 and then decide if the territory is available to expand, all of those are great for me. But I think it's better for us, right? We can train a small group to be really, really good operators of this brand. And it's better for our franchisees because, we call them kitchen owners. They're now building a real serious business for themselves where they have multiple units, area managers. And I love the scale of it.
Yeah. For people who love food, but don't love food.
Who don't want to be in the kitchen
food, but don't love all that
for a restaurant.
Yeah, they don't
want to be laughing and smiling. And it's a great place to work. I think you'll find that as well. Like to build the team, it's a fun team to build. You're literally hand selecting who you want on your team, who you want on your bench. But time and time again, we're hearing from our franchisees just how fun this is, right? Compare it to working at a Starbucks, right? And I'm sure there's a lot of great pros to those businesses too, but you're with people, you're having fun for a living, essentially, right? You're helping them to learn something new. And I think this is so funny. So many people that come to Taste Buds Kitchen don't like to cook. So don't feel like that. Don't feel like, on a date, they get pulled here and they can have a sip of wine and they can stir the onions, but inevitably it's those people that leave and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to hold a knife the same way, right? Or, oh, I'm always going to crack my egg this new way that I learned. It's the tips and the tricks that you pick up that make it so fun. It's like having a real life dinner party for adults. And for kids, they're just itching to get started, right? And we poll our parents, like, why are you signing your kids up for Taste Buds Kitchen, camp, birthdays? It's to learn something new, right? It's to make new friends. It's to build confidence, be creative. Yes, learn to cook is in there, but there are all the other benefits of like putting down technology, stepping into the kitchen, doing something fun.
What a really, really fun business you've built here.
Thank you.
Did you ever go back to Harvard and like tell them, like, did you have any contact with anybody there to be like, look what I did?
I did not. Although I swam, right? So my swimming girlfriends are still my best friends to this day, all my college buddies, but the actual school, no, although our marketing VP of marketing just this week was like, we should reach out to them to see if they'll include you in like one of the alumni magazines or something.
A little free press wouldn't help.
Exactly. Yes. I could talk about it all day long. I love spreading the word about Taste Buds Kitchen. And what's so cool, like I didn't even know this existed, right? And I created it. So all of our initial franchisees were exactly that. They're like, I didn't even know this existed, right? They either wanted to open a franchise, they didn't want a restaurant, they didn't want a school or a daycare. And they're like, oh my gosh, I love doing all of these things.
Right.
Or they wanted to do this. They wanted to teach kids or adults to cook. And they're like, this is too much work. I don't want to create this from scratch. So they Google and found us. So that's how a lot of our starting franchisees started out. And we actually have one current franchisee. I love this is came through consultants. And his primary objective was not to get into food. That was what he came in saying. I'm not going to do a food brand because he had in the back of his mind the restaurant mentality, the hours, the food costs, the turnover. And so when Taste Buds Kitchen was kind of shared with them as an option, they were like, I love this. I didn't want to do food, but I love all the things about this. And it really, it's called Taste Buds Kitchen for a reason. We make the kitchen fun. So the focus is on that, right? All the memories that you're creating and the experiences in the kitchen. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's really fun. I mean, and also when people think about like, is it recession? Like you're selling fun, you're selling community. This is totally a kind of business that's recession resistant because parents are always going to pay to keep their kids busy, right? And adults are always looking for new fun things to like do. You throw in the corporate events too. I mean, it's so well-rounded in who you can serve that if you're not finding customers, it seems like you're probably not doing the right things because it seems like they would just naturally come and then they'd want to come back. Do you track like your repeat customer base?
Retention? Yeah, it's a great question. And I would say to the two part of that, I started this in the recession. So 2007, 2008 is where I started it, right? And every year we grew and grew. We were obviously a lot smaller then. But you're right. We have so many different revenue streams from, the B2B for the corporate team building events to the B2C, most of our business, birthday parties, summer camps, right? All those experiences people do tend, maybe they'll cut back and go less often, or maybe only go to their favorites, but hopefully we're their favorites. So yeah, we love retention. I love if people would come once a quarter, that would be really great, but they come in different areas for us. So it's a life cycle business. So we cook with 2 to 99, all ages. So let's say you come with your 2-year-old to a class this weekend, right? And then your 8-year-old comes for 2 weeks of summer camp. And then you're bringing your spouse or friend for date night. And then you're doing a corporate team building with your office. So it's really like we see people in many different areas of their life, which is so different, right? I'm a mom and have a business. And so a lot of businesses just service one part of your life.
Right.
But we really are like, oh my gosh, Kim, welcome back. We've missed you. We haven't seen you in 2 months. So you will know your clients by name. They will know you. Of course, not all of them. You'll have plenty of people new each event. And I love that good mix of loyals and newbies. And we're always trying to convert the newbies to loyals so that they'll keep coming back again and again.
Is there a membership portion to this? If someone was like, I want to be there once a month.
Great question. We have not yet done memberships. It's all kind of pay as you go. So you just sign up and book. But we do have loyalty programs. So like it's called TBKers. If you help to refer people and send friends, and you can get discounts, and that's a great way to get involved and be on more of our regular list.
It's such a good, fun story. I'm so happy to meet you, Jessi. This took us a while to get here today. Too busy.
It did. No, yes. I'm so glad to talk to you, Kim.
We made this happen. So we kind of bring this to a close. So when you think about you in the Wall Street job and where you were at in your heart and in your body and in your mind and what you were looking for to where you are today, right? Even just like starting a business and then franchising it. So what advice do you have for those listeners out there who are just thinking, I have got to do something different than this soul-sucking job?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, my advice is to do it, whatever that is for you, right? I'm just like, make the next right choice. And for me, I feel like life is too short. So if you have a passion, a desire, a drive to do something, be informed, research, but then move forward, right? Decide what's the best thing for your life and take that next step. I know, only you have the power to change your life. I'm a big fan of grit and determination and hard work can get you where you want to go if you have a good plan. And so just make that choice and move forward.
It's really good. Kim Daly loves the word grit too.
I love grit and scrappiness. I'm all those things, right? Every day there's something I don't know how to do. And I hope that's the case for all of our franchisees as well. Like that makes life interesting, right? It's not the same thing every day. Every day there's a new challenge, a new obstacle. But we have a great set of core values. They spell kitchens, but one of them is just consistency, right? And not having, facing things with a positive attitude of success, right? We're always going into things positive, figuring it out. And for me, that's a very rewarding life. I love to figure it out as I go and, make the business the best that I can make it for all of our franchisees, and then for all of our franchisees to make it the best that they can make it for their communities and their families.
I love that. I love it so much. And what she's basically saying, guys and gals, is look, it's not all going to be like a piece of cake, right? You got to roll up your sleeves and get a little gritty right there. I did that on purpose. But, it's all going to be worth it, right? And when you're partnered with great people who have 17 years of track record before you, it helps to set you up. It puts you in a good place with people who can guide and mentor and coach. And not just you physically, but you emotionally and mentally. And that's a big part of the success equation in a franchise. So if you are inspired to begin your journey, well, you know that I want to be your franchise consultant and your daily coach. So please follow the link in the description right now. Don't wait. Just do it right now. And I will reach out to you right away. Jessi, thank you so much for being my special guest today here on Kim Daly TV.
Thanks for having me, Kim. It was great.
You are a pleasure and an inspiration. And I cannot wait to meet all of you right back here, same time next week. Thank you for watching until the end, and I'll see you later. Don't forget that my name is Kim Daly, and I want to be your daily coach.